Now at 11, a federal judge rules against the Trump administration over the deployment of National Guard troops to Portland. Why the legal battle is not yet over. Plus, growing concerns as millions of Americans have to go without federal food assistance.
The way it is now, I don't see that we can sustain.
And a local family questioning the methods of immigration authorities as a man is detained and faces deportation.
Because they move you out of state so quick so that you can't get help from your lawyers.
And later, a rally held ahead of Election Day as local leaders warn of what could happen to Portland parks if a proposed levy doesn't pass. Thanks so much for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. Our top story tonight, a big decision by a federal judge in Portland blocking the federal government once again from deploying National Guard troops to Portland, at least until Friday. In a statement, Governor Tina Kotek said this ruling is, quote, another affirmation of our democracy and the right to govern ourselves. Kyle Leboshi is here with more on that ruling and what it all means. Kyle?
Well, this is a big win for the state of Oregon and means troops won't be sent in anytime soon. In fact, legal experts suggest tonight's decision signals the judge will likely issue a permanent order blocking the deployment of troops. National Guard troops on hold. Late Sunday, a federal judge blocked the Trump administration from deploying federalized troops to Portland. Judge Karen Immerget granted a preliminary injunction until later this week when she'll make a final decision.
What's important is that right now, we know at least until Friday, there will be a preliminary injunction, and it's highly likely that this ruling will turn into a permanent injunction.
The order comes after a 3-day trial that ended last week. The state of Oregon, California, and city of Portland sued the Trump administration, arguing the president overstepped his authority. The feds claim the president has the right to deploy federalized troops, and federal officers need help protecting the ICE building in South Portland, for months a focal point of protest. In her ruling, Judge Immerget wrote, federal law enforcement, along with local law enforcement, were able to manage the situation by making arrests, and ICE officers were still able to do their job. Willamette University law professor Laura Appelman says Judge Immerget's order signals she'll likely issue a permanent injunction by the end of the week.
If there's a permanent injunction, that is not something that disappears in 14 days. But obviously, by the very phrasing of it, it's permanent.
Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield celebrated Sunday's decision as a step toward truth and accountability, because for now, the National Guard still cannot be deployed to Portland. The judge's decision came at a critical time just as the clock was running out. A temporary restraining order that she'd previously issued was due to expire at midnight. Instead, this new preliminary injunction now blocks any National Guard deployment in Oregon until Friday.
So, Kyle, what's next here for us? We're just in a holding pattern until Friday, essentially?
Well, the judge could provide a final decision at any time, but Friday is the deadline. Clearly, Judge Immerget wants to be thorough, so we'll be watching to see if and when she grants that permanent injunction. Now, keep in mind, that would be the final decision at the district court level, but it wouldn't stop there. The losing party will almost certainly appeal to the Ninth Circuit, and frankly, it could very well go all the way up to the Supreme Court.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much for your reporting and continuing to follow this story for us. Well, turning now to weather, and we're taking what is a dry look outside tonight from our Wells Fargo camera, but this could be one of the few drier moments of the week to come as a series of systems is going to start to move in for the first week of November. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is here with us tonight to let us know what the timing of the rain is going to look like, Joe.
Well, hey, we wrapped up the month of October with some wet conditions, and for the entire month of October, we saw nearly 4 inches of rain. Now for the first couple of days of November, yeah, it is going to be on the wet side, especially by tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. So the ridge of high pressure that we saw today is going to be pushing off to the east, and it's going to start to break down. That's going to usher in a couple of, different troughs of low pressures over the next couple of days. That's going to be bringing in cool, cloudy, and showery conditions as well. From our Pioneer Park building camera, yeah, the bricks are dry for the time being, but by I'd say lunchtime tomorrow afternoon is going to be absolutely wet. We'll transition to morning showers to straight up steady streams of rain in just a few hour period from the morning commute and into the lunch hour. Tuesday will be dry during the day, then some evening rain rolls in. Midweek, there is a coastal flood advisory with heavy rain and wind along parts of the Oregon coast. So here's a look at our first system that we're going to be seeing kind of knocking on the door right around 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. Again, we'll transition to just a few spotty showers, and by the afternoon, we'll be looking at a good amount of rain, and then heavier rounds of rain will be moving in by the middle part of the week. I'll talk more about that, and plus how much rain is in the forecast in my detailed forecast.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you soon. Well, roughly 42 million Americans are now without SNAP benefits due to the ongoing government shutdown. That's about 12% of the population. Now, food banks in the Portland metro are seeing a steep increase of people in need. We visited 3 food banks earlier today as they opened their doors. As the federal government shutdown rolls into its second month, the demand at local food banks is going up.
I don't see that we can sustain the amount of people that keep coming in.
On Sunday, Urban Gleaners' Stevens Creek location served twice the amount of people they typically see. Anthony Johnson says 50 people were lined up when they opened at 11 a.m., but wouldn't be surprised if that number continues to rise.
You know, once the people start feeling the strain of not being able to have anything to eat, they're going to be coming.
At the Bethlehem House of Bread in Tigard, fresh produce and bagged and canned food was on hand for the influx of people in need.
We are seeing double the numbers of people coming that usually come.
Director Linda Dove says they are accepting food and money from the community to help out, and people have already stepped up.
It's tragic that people are going through this, but it's also wonderful for us to see how other people who can are responding and helping the people that are most in need.
And at Faith Cafe in Beaverton, people were lined up out the door for their weekly Sunday meal. The volunteer-run nonprofit is already making plans for serving additional families.
We are starting to see our numbers pick up, but we're anticipating it and thinking about how that's all going to play out.
As the government shutdown stretches on, the fear is things may only be getting harder for people in our community living on the brink.
Every pantry in the city is going to be pinched, and it's going to get worse.
Well, starting tomorrow through next Sunday, Burgerville is offering a free kids cheeseburger meal to children who currently receive SNAP benefits. All you have to do is show your benefits card. No purchase is necessary. People will also have the option to round up their total to benefit local food banks. And there is a growing list of businesses volunteering to donate, fundraise, and even hand out free meals. We made it easy to find that info. Just text the word SNAP to 503-226-5088 and we'll text you back with that list. Developing this evening, Portland police continue their investigation into the killing of a man found in downtown early this morning. Officers found the victim's body just after 4:20 near Southwest 3rd and Taylor. They found evidence the man was shot, but a medical examiner will confirm a cause of death. No one has been arrested at this time, and police ask anyone who was in the area this morning to reach out with information. Portland police are also investigating a hit and run that sent a cyclist to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Officers were called to the area of Northeast 82nd and Eugene around 3:30 this morning. By the time they got there, the driver had left the scene. The cyclist's condition is not known at this time. A man with deep ties to Oregon was detained while at an area hardware store last week. He is still in custody of ICE, having been moved to a detention facility out of state. And tonight we're hearing from his family. Jay Coulter brings us that story.
Orlando Vasquez's family says he was picked up by ICE here in the parking lot of this Northeast Portland hardware store Thursday afternoon.
He got pushed to a corner, he got trapped.
Vincent Vasquez detailing how his father was taken by ICE Thursday.
They tried to scare him to get him out of his car and eventually ended up cracking his window.
Vasquez says his father Orlando was at the hardware store to pick up a mop head on his way to work as a janitor, a job he's had for more than 25 years.
Some of them were questioning the ICE agents, asking him why was he being arrested, and they were lying to them, saying that my dad has warrants and that he's a criminal when my dad has no warrants and he's just a good guy. He doesn't do anything in this world besides just try to help out his family here, and they just took him like that. They just basically kidnapped him, and now he's gone.
Vasquez says his dad was taken to the ICE facility in Tacoma following his detainment in Portland, but is now at a facility in Texas. In a brief call with his dad, Vasquez says he told him about 40 people are being deported every day, and he worries he could be deported as well. Although not a U.S. citizen, Orlando was in the States on a valid work permit.
He came over here when he was 18 to provide for his mom and dad.
Vasquez says seeing all the ICE videos of people being taken on social media is scary, and now that it's affecting his family, he understands the struggle other families are going through.
All this does is just ruin families. It just breaks apart families. Sometimes they take the number one person from your life that supports you in your life, and then the next thing you know, it's just all gone.
Jake Holter, KGW News.